Welcome back to another episode of Spotlight through Shumans. And today we have the football coach of South Effingham, Coach Purvis. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm asking you a few questions. So, how do you feel that your team performed this year?
Well, so far we're 6-3, and that's a really good number for us. That's the most wins we've had in 4 years. So I'm very proud of us from a win-loss standpoint. But sometimes a win-loss don't always tell the whole story. And I think our kids have done a phenomenal job of really working hard. And we put them through some stuff in the summer that was a lot different. And like we had some days where we didn't pick up a football. We just got out there and did competition things and competed against each other. And I'm really excited about how far they've come since then.
So, what in practice? What is the competition like, and how intense does it get?
So every day we do something that is best on best. Like today, for example, we have 5 plays where the first O goes against the first D, and we put something on the line. So whether it's push-ups, we put up downs, we've done squats. It's 25 to the loser. So whoever loses, whether it be offense or defense, is got those. And then at the end of the day, today, for example, again, we did board drills. So you know the Oklahoma drill, right? You guys do that, just one-on-one hitting each other. But with the running back and the linebacker, we don't do that. We just do the one-on-one hitting. So twice a day, we try to do something that's ultra competitive.
So, what are your thoughts going into the game this week? So, it's a must-win game.
That's right.
What are your thoughts?
You know, it's a win or go home game. Literally, if we lose, the season's over, and if we win, we go to the playoffs. And that's another thing. At the beginning of the year, we said, all right, our goals are we want to win more than we lose, which we've done that with our 6 wins. We can't have a losing season, and we want to make the playoffs. And this senior class is pretty hungry for that. We got a lot of good, hardworking kids in there. But it's going to be a good game. Evans High School out of Augusta has got a lot of good athletes. They've got an offensive lineman that Alabama wants, a big guy, and he's very good at what he does. And they've got a really good running back. So for us to stop them offensively, it's going to be a challenge. But, you know, one thing that we've talked about all year with our kids is when something bad happens, it's okay, it's good. Let's move on to the next play. So if we come out and we respond well, I feel very good about our chances with whoever we play.
So, about previous games, what do you think your team has evolved or stood out to you about like how they're grit throughout the games?
Yeah, I would say earlier in the season, we didn't do a good job of responding. We got down in some games and we never fought back. And there was games where, you know, a couple of our losses, 2 of them especially, one, they came out and just, we never fought back. And the second loss, the second half, we really fought. And then in our third loss this season so far, we were outmatched physically, but we kept fighting. We scored in multiple quarters against a team that really was better than us. You know, sad to admit it, but and there was a game against Lakeside where we had 5 turnovers, 4 fumbles and 1 interception, and we still won that game because our kids. You're talking about evolving. Man, our kids wanted to fight. They didn't want to lay down. They didn't want to give up, and that's been the biggest thing that I've seen difference. You know, I was here before as an assistant coach, and when I was here before, when things went bad, we had that tendency to get that hanging our head and feeling sorry for ourselves. And we've really gotten to a point this season where we don't have that anymore when things go wrong.
Okay, so what got you into coaching?
You know, I was in school to be a business major. I thought I was an accounting major. I thought I was going to go be a businessman. And I honestly, I just didn't like it. I wasn't having a good time in school. It was, you know, I'm not afraid to admit that when I was young, I had no clue what I wanted to do. You know, you're doing a great job here. You've got an idea of what you want, and that's awesome. Run with it. When I was 21 even, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet. And I knew that business wasn't it. And I remember having a day where I was praying a lot and trying to figure out, like, where does the Lord want me? Where does he want to use me? I was working for a ministry at the time that worked with high school kids. And I thought, you know what, if this is what I love doing, then what profession can I do that in? And I've always been ultra competitive. I've always been, man, it didn't matter if we were playing checkers or tiddlywinks. I wanted to beat you because you were on the other team. And football is a really good way to get that competitive nature out, and sports is a good way to do that. But I want to work with high school kids. I thought that young men are something that we need to grow more men in this world, and I see that as part of my calling is to work with young guys, turn them into young men, and that's what got me into coaching.
So, what is your favorite part about coaching, especially in games, practices, or whatever?
Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of favorite parts. Can I have multiple?
Mm.
I'd say one of the biggest ones is that competition, is that feeling of going into it one on one. Our team against their team, and seeing who can come out. I know that's probably barbaric, a little bit, but like that competitive drive. Another one of my favorite ones is to watch a kid that a young man that we've worked with, that we've coached, that that maybe not have the success he needs or that he deserves for the work that he's put in, and then on a Friday night to see that success come out, that's really exciting. Because you can just see that weight lifted off that young man's shoulders. You see that hey, he's put in the hard work, he deserves to see that success. So um, that's another one, and then just that camaraderie. I got a great group of kids here. I've been blessed to coach really good kids. I've been blessed to go to some of my former players' weddings, even though I've gotten that old. But it's it's exciting to build that family and that relationship with them. I tell my kids every day that on the football field, it's funny, but I tell them, hey, I love you, and I mean that, and I want the best for them. So it's fun to see them grow. In that part of coaching, there's not another profession, in my opinion, that I get to pour into these guys' lives and see where they go after.
Okay, so what is one thing you're looking in characteristics of a player and how like their grit, how they practice? What are you looking into that?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about being at our best. All right, we want to believe, we want to have expectations, and we want to strive to outwork, and then we believe in being a team. So when I'm looking at players, man, I want them to embody that. Do they believe in themselves? Do they believe in each other? Do they believe in this team? Are they holding each other accountable? Like if one of them's not having a good day in practice, hey, are they willing to hold the other one accountable for practicing harder? Are they willing to outwork and strive to out compete other people? And then are they buying into that team concept? See, team's a hard concept, man. We all got egos. We all think that we're really good, right?
Mhm.
And team's a hard concept because I've got to lay down what I want best and put you above myself to be a good teammate. And so those are the four things that we really preach about and we really try to look at.
And last question, what are the challenges of you coming in as first year head coach and turning around the South Effingham football program?
Um, the biggest thing that I've seen, the biggest struggle I've seen is belief. We've got good players. We've got good young players. We've got good kids coming, and we've got good players on our team currently. But in the past 3 years, South has been 1-9, 2-8, 4-5. We're 6-3 this year, and I can look in their eyes sometimes, and I'm still not sure that they believe they're as good as they are. So the belief in the fact that hey, we can get this done. We've got all we need right here. We've just got to come out and play. That's been a hard thing to turn. The word that you'll hear a lot is culture, right? There's a culture on this program that you got to change, and I don't necessarily believe that's the right word. I think a lot about the atmosphere. Like, what is the atmosphere that we're in? And when I mean that, like when you're in the locker room, what's the atmosphere of the locker room? When you're on your team, what's the atmosphere of that team? Does your whole team believe that you're about to win these games, or do you got guys that are like, well, I don't know if we can do it or not?
I don't know if you can do it or not.
Yeah, exactly. We got the same thing at the high school level, but that's what I'm trying to get in because again, we're 6-3. Guess what? 4 wins last year and 2 wins the year before that. The past 2 years, we've already tied that total in 1 year. We can get stuff done around here, but I got to make sure they believe they can.
How important do you think it is for them to go in a game like, hey, we can win this game and go out there and perform and win the game?
Really, really big. I think if you walk on the court, the field, the grass, whatever it is, and you've already won that game in your mind, you've got a lot better chance. I just, I mean, I'm sitting down, but you've seen me stand. I'm not a very big guy. I always played guys that were bigger than me, but guess what? I always believed that I had a shot. And I think that's part of the competition. That's part of being a competitor, but that's also a part of believing in yourself and believing in your teammates. And every time we step on that field, I believe in us. So until that whistle blows, I think we still got a chance.
Okay, and that was the last question. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Spotlight with the Shumans. And thank you, Coach Purvis, for again being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it. And we out.